I know it feels like a long time ago, but we began the week with that shocking announcement, OPEC Plus cutting daily oil production by 1.1 million barrels a day. The ramifications of yet another production cut. Listen, it's going to reach all facets of life, including, of course, the auto industry. Joining me now is the car coach, Lauren Fix. And Lauren, petroleum inventories are plunging again. We'll get the seasonal, the driving season's coming up soon. And auto sales, they've been blistering. They've been pretty tough, hanging up there pretty good. But is there a level, we always have this conversation where gasoline prices become a speed bump?
Yeah, they're definitely a speed bump. Prices are up about 6%. They've been going up week over week, and they're also going up at the pump. You'll see them go up 10 to 20% just overnight. People are complaining about it. You can see it on online social posts, let alone just driving by on your own. Diesel has not popped like it did at one point, but now we've got the summer blends coming in, and it still makes no sense why we're even doing blends, because it doesn't make a difference like it used to.
The first quarter sales I saw up 7.5%, but the problem or average car, 45 grand, that's a record. Average payment, $730. I think like 20% of people paying $1,000. Delinquencies are starting to go up. It feels like we're on a road to disaster, no pun intended.
Well, no, but I think you're right. We have a 17-year high of repossessions, and that's mostly millennials and Gen Zers, because many of them stayed home. They were getting the COVID check that disappeared, and now they realize they're over their heads and cars are being repossessed. In addition to that, you have to think about the average cost of a vehicle, and you're talking about almost $50,000 for a gasoline-powered vehicle and $66,000 for an electric vehicle, even with those very minimal now EV tax credits, which are going to change again on April 18th. This is a constant shift, and it's really hurting the brands, because one time you're eligible and the next week you're not eligible, and they're constantly changing the rules.
Well, what about the eligibility? Was Hummer eligible? Because I read that was it the last quarter they sold 2 electric Hummers? Did Arnold buy them? I mean, how do you only sell 2?
Well, okay, you have to understand what happened. They're in the middle of trying to build their Factory Zero plant in Detroit and also in Hamtramck. They're building the Ultium batteries. But on top of that, they had some issues. So only 2 got delivered, but there's over 90,000 orders. Remember that an order is a $1,000 deposit that's refundable.
Electric vehicles in general, what can be done to make them more attractive? Because you get money to buy them. They're putting more and more restrictions on combustion engines. And now I just read that the Biden administration is considering even more coercion to make it more expensive to drive a gas-powered car. But at this point, I thought EVs were so wonderful. Why don't people just walk in and pluck their money down for them?
Well, if they're so wonderful, why are we incentivizing? Why are we bribing you to buy one, right? I mean, and you have to look at who's eligible and who's not eligible. So, for example, on the new rules and restrictions that come in April 18th, the Lightning is eligible, but the Mach-E and the other electric vehicles that they have that are plug-in are only half eligible. So now you're making it less interesting to the person who might say, well, if I got that $7,500 tax credit, I was just driving the Toyota Prius Prime, and Toyota's not eligible, but they're getting it through the corporation, so they're passing that along to the customer. So a lot of manufacturers are doing that because Kia, Honda, Hyundai are not eligible, and those are big selling products. Remember, Toyota's the #1 seller in the world, so if they can't get this tax credit, of course they're building a battery plant. Everybody's building a battery plant. But these rules are constantly in flux, and listen, nobody moves that fast. These are big businesses. You're asking Goliath to take very small steps and keep shifting, and it can't be done.
Yeah, I just think they keep their finger on the scale, though. And the thing is, they punish people who don't want to buy EVs, which I think is unfortunate. You're the best, Lauren. Thank you very much.
Yes, they do.
All righty. Hey, folks, we'll be right back.